We're back. A place called Resilience podcast. My name is Martin Perry. Tonight I'm with my friend and co-host, Emmy Schaling. Emmy, greetings.
Greetings to you, Martin.
Thank you. And today we have a special guest joining us from Miami, Florida, United States of America, our very good friend, Perry Martin. Perry, greetings.
Greetings, Emmy and Martin.
Hi, Perry.
So what do we have today?
So, for those of you joining us for the first time, A Place Called Resilience podcast is a research into the quality of resilience. What is it? What is it for? How does it aid us in our personal growth and development journey? And today, we're going to be speaking with Perry to discover more about his relationship with the quality of resilience. Perry, what part has resilience played in your life?
Well, where to start? The best place to start is at the beginning. Where is the beginning of life for us individually? It's in our youth. And how do we look at that to look back? If our whole life is a one life and everything that we've been through is still living in us, at the same time, that is a living part of us. It's our living trace. And I remember not all the way back. I don't know how many people can go all the way back. I remember sometime in the crib, which means I was younger than 3. I remember a talk about the president at the time, and that would be before 3, President Eisenhower. I was born at the beginning of what they call the Korean War in America, but it really was not a war. It was a peacekeeping mission. And since I was in a military family with all the male members of it have been in World War II, and now some were facing going someplace else, it was strong in the house. And I'll go forward, and I remember these parts of life. Usually one that had a strong emotional reaction, which is often things that you didn't expect it to happen to you, unexpected, or things that you did wrong. But what I remember that goes through all of that is no matter what happened, I was up and ready to go whenever I woke up. Now, later in life, today, I recognize that I'm not my body. I'm not the complex that's been given to me that is of the flavor of Homo sapien. That this particular complex that I started out with seems to have had its own resilience, a powerful resilience to keep going on my behalf. And if I look back now about trying to walk, trying to talk, or trying to crawl, it was more about whatever the pilot that I am, piloting this amazing get around the Earth's vehicle, and has the possibility to shape shift into whatever that pilot wants it to be or do, and it moves forward with those requests. I realized that it was me trying to learn how to communicate with me, or with that part that in a way serves me, because it didn't seem to tell me what to do. Waited to hear what was going on in me. perfectly made, uniquely to my life, with a resilience, incredible resilience to look after me, a dedication to look after the life it had responsibility for, which was Perry Martin. This complex has been my friend and companion for 72 years now, is pure resilience. And I think that the resilience for me is what I've been able to make and come to and happen and create in myself alongside of that. My resilience is based upon purpose, belief. It's my belief and the fact that I'm making some progress towards what the purpose of life that I feel I'm dedicated to. That strengthens the resilience to go on. And when I find myself down, it's more feeling disconnected a bit from making progress in that area. Is my life meaningful that day? Do I feel like I'm still tethered to that inner purpose of life? So resilience is there from my friend, and resilience is there from me because of the relationship and what has been won so far. I think I can say that about your question, Martin.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to jump straight in at the deep end with you, if I may. Um, you've intimated that resilience is an inbuilt, in-house quality that is inherent inside the human systems. So firstly, am I correct in that intimation?
Yes.
And as a result of that, what's your best consideration as to why that may be the case? Why is each unique human life coded with or born with the quality of resilience? Why might that be?
Well, a person, me, you, Emmy, we don't know what we're doing when we're young. I think a human being is the one life in this planet that takes the longest to get on its own feet and be able to look after itself. We have to have a whole community, family, friends, a village to move forward. Now, it's obvious that there's been human-like creatures for a very long time. And you could say that's true for orangutan. There's some life on Earth that seems to have a great deal of intelligence, like the octopus and dolphins, killer whales. But only the human has to put it together. It takes a long time. I mean, we're put into school from young age with other children, the hands of other humans, to help learn. In America, we have pre-K, and we have pre-K, or PPK. And then you get first grade, and you get 12 grades, then you get four, there's a college, and then you can do 4 years more if you want to get a doctorate degree. And you can stay in the university your whole life. as a way of avoiding life. But it never ends. And you say, why is it everyone unique? Well, it's obvious that something is trying to get something to be born. It's obviously something wants something from this experiment. It's got to be an experiment, because if it wasn't an experiment, we'd all be alike, or there'd be 12 different varieties, and we just put them in there because it's for the population of the planet. So if we were not unique, and it's not just this generation's unique, the unique is built in so that it's not possible to have another person exactly like yourself. Even in twins, and it have to be in even numbers. Twins are quadruplets or sextuplets, probably. You could maybe have the DNA be alike, but then we're affected by life where we go, and no two people can walk the same path, and we're changed by the path and the trail, always to be unique. It's not just fingerprints or DNA, blood type. It's the eyes, it's the palms, it's the bottom of the feet. Every part of us is made different. The only thing that says to me is that it's purposeful, uniquely, beautifully engineered, so that it will always be so. As long as the human race continues like it is, it'll continue to be finding unique. That means something wants uniqueness. It doesn't want us. And there's something else important about that, because that means everybody's got a job. You're automatically employed by being born here, because there's no one else that can do your job. No one else can take your job, because your job is to be unique to yourself and grow in your way to see what's going to happen. So let's say the universe wants to know what's possible, and the human race is part of a way of finding out what is possible that has not happened yet, because we're different than the last generation. Now, that one thing, if you really deep dive in it over your life, it is a rich well of respect and value for yourself, potentiality, because of the very fact that no one else can be you, and someone made you that way on purpose. That means you're important, because no one else can do it. No one else can do your part. I find that fascinating and enriching, and strengthens my resilience, because I've got this urge to pay back for this gift. I can't not have that. Someone gave me this unique possibility. It must care about me. Something must care about my life and all life the same way, especially for human life, because we were given the gift of discovery and to determine what our path is going to be. And because of that, we're uniquely special as far as we can see as human beings at this time and what we know.
Emmy, would you like to jump in at this stage?
Yes. Do I understand you well, Perry? That you're saying that the fact that each human is unique amplifies the resilience that we all have been born with. Do I understand that well? That's an extra stimulus for you to make the most of your unique life.
Let me say this way. I felt as I was speaking a warmth from inside of this complex that it's been labeled Perry Martin by my family. I felt it appreciating, being thought of, recognizing a little bit more about what its purpose is, and recognizing that I care about it and I have value. From that, I felt its resiliency to continue and strengthen and to back me up, to be stronger. And I feel like I would with any friend, I want to be careful with that friendship and not abuse it. And even in that, I feel that perhaps there's so much yet to be discovered about how much working together in this relationship with what we were born into and who we are, which is still a mystery, that the improvement in that sensitivity could propel us forward with such greater capacity in the future. That I feel.
Thank you. What caught me from what you just said was the possibilities a human has, which connects me to a part earlier in the conversation where you made mention of the word purpose, Perry. And so one question that is surfacing in me is, what could be the relationship between the possibilities of a human being and its possible purpose and resilience?
Could I ask you, Emmy, what's brewing in you about that right now?
Can you use the verb again, because a plane was coming over?
Yeah, what I wanted to know before Perry answers the question is, what's brewing in you as you ask the question? You know, it's like Perry introduced us to the concept of purpose and resilience very early on.
Yes.
And I'm wondering what's been brewing in you
Well,
between then and then the moment when you asked the question.
that's right. Well, what has been brewing in me and the image that has been arising in me is, could it be that the stronger we feel propelled towards a purpose that we see or feel or verbalize or form as we live, could it be that the stronger this purpose is alive in us, the more resilience is generated in us to help us get to where we want to get to? That is brewing in me. Is there a connection? Is there a source of resilience beside that of the body that we've been given? Is there a potency of resilience that is stronger the closer we are getting to what a human being was created for? That's what's been brewing in me.
And if that was true,
Mm-hmm.
why might that be?
Good question. Do you want me to go into that one?
Well, I'm interested in your musings on the matter, yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, you have this children's game, and you need to find something, and the children around you, something that's hidden, and the children around you keep telling you if you get it closer or further away from where it is hidden. So you get these exclamations of warm, warmer, hot, like you've almost got it. So I wonder if there's a built-in system that says now you're getting really close to where you need to be, because all kind of systems start switching on. You can, like now I can feel something about my head. Something starts to say yes, built in the body, in the whole system. So that's actually the trace I'm on right now. Are there all these assisting systems? They are all put in place there. And when you get closer on the human track, where the human could be, was meant to be, or when you're closer to evolving as a human community, could it be that various systems start to switch on?
Yeah, thank you. Let's hear what Perry might have to say about that.
Well, one thing is that Perry can't give answers. Perry can respond to what lights up in me about the questions that would add more breadth to help in discovering more about it. So first thing is we need to know the bit. We need to have a little look at what purpose might be. Not the big old purpose, but purpose of things. Like, what is the purpose of a worm? What does a worm have a purpose for, as an example? Now, if it's an earthworm, it needs to eat. And the process of eating and reproducing, it helps to build the soil of the earth all around. It helps to improve it, nutrient. It helps to recycle. And so its purpose is to help. It helps the universe, help the planet, help everything on it. It's there to provide something. So a bacteria, what's the purpose of a bacteria? Well, many different purposes, probably fine-tuned. But it has a built-in job to do. So I think I would put job with purpose. What's your job? Now, since we're humans and we're really kind of interested in what the purpose of human life is, because whoever's going to look at this video, we have this unique difference that we don't have a ready-made purpose. We've got to put it together somehow. Now, the complex has a purpose. My body and my brains and my heart and all those things that are working, they produce fertilizer. They transform things that I eat. I gather perceptions and images and sentiments and try and ask what they are. So there's a function that is that this complex provides function for the maintenance of this planet. It's built in. It seems to everything has to have everything that I can see and feel and have looked at is performing some function that the planet needs to happen. I question whether the human purpose may be here to perform more than just a planetary function, more than maybe even helping the development of the child of the planet, the moon. That our place is not certain. I mean, not known certainly. I believe that some people have a good idea about it, but I think individually, each of us has to feel that and find it as best they can. I'm a very stubborn man. The things that humans that are older than me when I was a child, I couldn't agree with them the way they were going on. And I lost faith in blind trust. I learned how to get by, but kind of lost faith in that model that was being printed in school and parents and TV and all the ways that growing up in the 50s and 60s. I lost faith in what other people would tell me was the purpose. So I've been on a lifelong journey to try to figure out what purpose is. Now, if I could tell you what my purpose is and what I believe the human's purpose is, it would be coming from an outside source. It wouldn't be any helpful to you or anyone else that would hear me say that. But there's something inside that can find purpose. And purpose then becomes a pathway. It becomes a climb. It becomes a search to refinement, trying to do better. There is something that appears to be true, that humanities come from living in caves, the easy trace, to learning about fire, to today building the most incredible things. So there's a trace of development that one can see in the record, things that would leave a record, physical objects. And there's a trace in the development of the human complex from, bigger brain capacity, development of enormous refinement. If you could look at it across the world of music, where maybe music was pounding on some drums or holding two rocks and humming, jumping up and down, to a complete orchestra of incredible objects that make all kinds of noises, all kinds of frequencies, resonances. Until you can hear when things resonate in a way that's pleasing, and things that resonate in a way that's not pleasing at all. Sounds and music that can make you well and heal you. Sounds that can make you sick, lose your hearing. So a wise person once said these words, and I have always thought of them. It says, the greater to God, the greater the economy. And this past, I think early this morning, partly yesterday, I was thinking about this to relation to this world I live in. And I said, why? Why is that? And I thought of all the jobs that I talked about here earlier today, about how all these jobs are in the world. And then when something's there that needs to be done, a job is created to maintain or do something about that. Like there's a lot of things that are pooping on this world, then you need a dung beetle, and you need earthworm. You need vultures. You need crabs, catfish. Enormous amount of things that are made to clean up the debris so we don't get bogged down by it. Even leaves that be broken down into something that something else can use. So I thought, if you're going to de-evolve, not evolve, and make more debris and break things down. You're also then going to create, cause to be created, organic life, and even life that's very refined and yet works without being seen, to deal with that. And if we're on a, if let's say we're, as humans, part of the refinement of the universe, maybe that's our job, because we're made unique and different, and we can find new things, and hopefully we'll choose new things to make the universe better, to make ourselves better, to make us able to do things more efficiently, less waste. Less waste will mean less organic life that has to deal with waste. It'll allow the energy of the universe to refine into more economical pathways that create more of the good in it than the more weighty parts. So I started to think about that, and that's kind of as far as I got today. But it was all about economy causes the development of a higher organic life because you're dealing with less of the lower organic life. So in that way, as a human trying to do that and finding ways that that might happen, my working on that pathway should attract something that watches this whole play that we're in, this whole act that we're involved in right now, the act of life. And if there's some help towards that, some new perception towards that to assist us can be given, we in a way would be proving ourselves worthy of receiving that, or by having good hands, by working towards it, by wanting to provide that. If that could be provided, it could be given. So in relation to human purpose, perhaps because we're unique, that we have this free will, not being made to live life by laws already given, but the ability to make laws, to find the laws that fit developing life. That we are learning how to fulfill a job after our time here is done.
Emmy, did that deepen, or has that deepened your, or furthered your understanding of purpose in relation to resilience?
It certainly has, and it's fascinating how one human being can think along different ways from another, and in a way that's inspiring and gives new ideas.
Are you able to say in what way it may have furthered your understanding of purpose in relation to resilience?
Well, one word that stands out is function, where you called it job. What function do we have? And is a question that rose, is purpose, is it a journey? Or is it a journey for some and a knowing for others? I do feel this propulsion of resilience as you're telling your story, Barry. I can see the importance of posing questions and posing new questions rather than thinking, oh, I've got it now. So your way of taking us on your journey is a reflection for me how I fill in the answer, maybe sooner than later. So it helps me to be more in the research mode or to be less satisfied with an early answer, to keep searching. That's what your guidance up the mountain on this little journey, what it caused in me.
Makes me wonder about the qualities of resilience in relation to the uniqueness of each person. And if the person is true, as in following the inner guidance on their self-discovery journey, then that journey feels to me empathic with, say, the originating idea within that person for you to discover what makes you the only you there's ever been in the history of the universe. An inner journey, a journey of discovery of the inner lights, the living lights of oneself, as in, what is our potential? In other words, potential, the undiscovered self, the who you are not yet, the future you. And it feels like an adventure into the world of the undiscovered self, where the asking of questions is a medium of discovery on a never-ending quest on the path that leads to the undiscovered self. And that which has caused us to be, whatever name that may be given to that, may, by the very sentiment of creating each life unique, be entirely supportive of that journey to the undiscovered self, because that's a journey to mine the richness of one's living lights, lights which have been lit up and lights which have not yet been lit up, the unlit lights. And I'm wondering if resilience is a natural aid for continuance, so that when life in this part of the universe gets rough or difficult, with challenges to overcome, or maybe when some of those lights get switched off, there is within us a fortitude or a character which we call resilience that allows continuance, that allows us to navigate those difficult times and re-emerge strengthened, fortified on that journey of self-discovery to the undiscovered self, or the unlit lights, in which each of us in our journey will have different inquiries, sentiments, purposes that light the path to that undiscovered self. So that's an attempt to sum up what's just what I've just experienced. Don't know if either of you have any reflections about that or furtherances.
I love the way you sum things up. I'd like to add a curio for people to think about. The fact that we are unique is our phone number. That something can call us. that something can feel what comes out of us, that something can save what we produce. It means that something wants to be able to get in touch with us and what we do in our life isn't lost or mixed up with something else. It gives each of us its own clean slate, known record. It means that something wants it that way.
Yeah, Martin, what really resonated with me was the connection between resilience and continuance. Resilience as a first aid package to help the human continue. Wherever the human chooses to go to, or whatever path the human chooses to go by.
Why would, for you, continuance feel or be important or significant?
In the greater picture, it seems we can gather experience in our lives, learn things, make connections with things that are stronger and more powerful than we are. It seems that we, members of humanity, have been given the opportunity and the choice to create something better on this planet whilst we're here than what was there before. Maybe a next step for humanity as a whole. So part of the research in my journey is what things will remain of value and what things can I let go of? What would be worth continuing? What I process, what I generate, and what can I shed? Knowing that the whole way of being here is partially cherishing what we think is valuable at this moment in our lives, partly using things to keep us intact, healthy, and 1/3, as we are made as humans, to just let go of what we no longer need. As you gave an example, Perry, of you eat and you let go, that will go somewhere else where it may be useful in creation's economy. So that's part of why continuance is a guideline for me.
Yeah, it evokes in me a sense of there's the who you know, but the who you do not yet know. And the who you do not yet know may well surprise the who you do know. And
Okay.
and the continuance is a mystery journey to that who you do not yet know. And that which has caused us to be would want us to be continually on that journey of self-discovery, because the gems and the magic and the diamonds that can be found there may emit a body of light that is enhancing for both self and others, in which resilience may well be our friend and companion on that journey. Resilience itself coded with the desire to be supportive of each and every one of us on that journey.
Mm.
In the way that when Perry spoke from self to self, a warming feeling occurred, followed by a sense of enhanced resilience or resilience being nearby. Now that strikes me as a very rich internal accord and harmony. To be able to draw upon the feeling of resilience by being close to oneself or appreciative of oneself. And it makes me wonder what part gratitude might play in the growth of resilience. For the journey has been rich and warming and fortifying. And I wonder if the time comes to put a pause on our journey for now, perhaps to return and to dwell and reflect upon the evocations of the day. So, Emmy, I wonder if you'd like to close out the journey today with some feelings, sentiments, and considerations to encapsulate the spirit of where we've been.
It has been a joy to experience the diversity of being a human and to feel the warmth and the respect for each other, and also for what accompanies our lives, the built-in resilience, instruments to help us continue on our journey. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Perry, do you have any concluding words?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here with you both, and it's always rewarding to try and make headway into why we're here on this planet. It's always a rich process. I hope that we've touched upon some things that will help us make future steps. Planted some living things in the ground that might sprout up and show us the way.
This has been a Place Called Resilience podcast. I'm Martin Perry. I've been with my friend and co-host Emmy Schaling and our special guest from Miami, Florida, Perry Martin. Until next time, see you soon.
Bye-bye.